good to go. Welcome, everybody. I would like to call to order the April 28th, 2026 regular school meeting of Columbia Heights Public Schools. If you are able, please rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
In a break from our general flow of meeting, we will next be swearing in our new school board member. All right, are you ready? Yep, I'm gonna do it over. I don't need a microphone. I will just be loud. So, school board member oath of office. It is an honor that you were elected to guide the education of our community's children. As you recite the oath of office, you assume a tremendous responsibility as a director of our school district with the duties empowered by the Minnesota legislature. This power puts you and the other members of our school board in the position of being both morally and legally responsible for equitable, quality education of every student in our district. In carrying out this responsibility, you will be asked to fulfill the roles of vision, structure, accountability, and advocacy. In providing vision, the board, with extensive participation of the community, envisions the community's educational future and then formulates the goals, defines the outcomes, and sets the course for the public schools. To achieve this vision, the board establishes a structure and creates an environment designed to ensure all students have the opportunity to attain their maximum potential through a sound organizational framework. Because as a board, we must be accountable to the community, we must ensure a continuous assessment of student achievement and all conditions affecting the education of our children. As board members, we serve as education's key advocate on behalf of students and our community schools to advance the vision for our schools. Furthermore, we must strive to work together with the superintendent and staff to lead the district towards fulfilling the vision we have created, fostering excellence for every student in the areas of academic skills and knowledge, citizenship, and personal development. Having signed the acceptance
of office and oath of office, I hereby publicly affirm my commitment to the oath of office. I swear and affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and of this state, and that I will discharge faithfully the duties of the office of school board member of Independent School District number 13 to the best of my judgment and ability.
Congratulations. All right, now we can move on to roll call.
Petway?
Here.
Palmer? Here. Medeiros?
Here.
Vodnas-Bondas?
Here.
Hool?
Here.
Granlund?
Here.
And Superintendent Stenbeck.
Here. Wonderful, thank you very much. Columbia Heights Public Schools, our mission statement is creating worlds of opportunity for each and every learner. All belong, all succeed. Core values: community, excellence, collaboration, integrity, respect, courage, and innovation. Next up, we have agenda approval, adjustments, and announcements. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
So moved.
Thank you, Julie. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Michelle. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Announcements. Hang on a second. May 12th, 5 p.m., Subcommittee on Policy in the Superintendent's Conference Room. Also on May 12th at 5 p.m., there's a Subcommittee on Community Engagement / Legislative Action in the Community Room. May 12th at 6, we have our regular school board meeting here in the community room. And May 19th at 5:30, we have our school board work session here in the community room. Communication to the board. Is there any communication to the board?
Not at this time.
Thank you. All right, next up, we have the consent agenda. Within our consent agenda is the personnel report, the treasury report, the minutes and policy second reading of 203.5 school board meeting agenda, 205 open meetings and closed meetings, 206 public participation in meetings, 208 development, adoption, and implementation of policies, 209 code of ethics, 210 conflict of interest school board members, and 211 criminal or civil action against. Can I get a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
Thank you. Laura, can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Jessica. Any discussion? All right, no discussion. We'll move to vote. All those in favor of accepting the consent agenda as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next up, we have the acknowledgement of contributions. Welcome. And just a quick note, we have our student representative, Cade, is joining us. Welcome. All right. I will read the acknowledgement of contributions. Minnesota State Statute 123B.02 permits school boards to, quote, receive for the benefit of the district bequests, donations, or gifts for any proper purpose and apply the same to the purpose designated. On that behalf, the board may act as trustee of any trust created for the benefit of the district and for the benefit of the pupils thereof. Therefore, the School Board of Columbia Heights Public Schools, Independent School District Number 13, resolves to accept with appreciation the $24,275.35 in monetary contributions detailed in the background. Monetary. Dean and Joyce Bliss and E and G Hubble each donated $25. Albert Ogdy, Luann Ristad, Corliss Johnson, and Elizabeth Thomas each donated $50. Glenda Glore and Carolyn Bang each donated $75. Elaine Narbo, Elise Bokist, and Janie Olson each donated $100. Leo and Catherine McAvoy and Francis Yu each donated $250. Wayne and Linda Kutze and Jay Ann Hennessy each donated $300. John and Kathleen Kane, Gerald Reidling, and Harlan and Doris Downing and Pam Sigurdson each donated $500. Kathy Kelly donated $1,000 to the 2026 Retired Staff Scholarship Fund. The Blackbound Giving Fund donated $50 to Valley View and $300 to Columbia Heights School District. The American Heart Association donated $350 to North Park. Jean Hartwell donated $100 to Columbia Heights Public Schools. Justin, this will be one that I've Schirkenbach, thank you. Donated $143.35 to the Columbia Academy Musical. Danielle Berg donated $550 to the Valley View Sunshine Scholarship Fund. Becky Dubus donated $100 to Columbia Heights Public Schools. The Columbia Heights Athletic Boosters and Laura Martinson each donated $8,480 to the Columbia Heights High School Scholarship Fund. Anonymous donated $500 to Columbia Heights Public Schools for the Gratitude event. And the Valley View PTO donated $1,000 to the Valley View Thank You event and $200 to the Valley View Fun Run. Nadia Beathy donated $1,000 to Columbia Heights Public Schools. Kim Wells donated 2 yearbooks from the 1940s valued at $0 to Columbia Heights High School in honor of her grandmother, Carol Robideau. And Sam Oy, donated a bike valued at $350 to Highland Elementary. Can I get a motion to accept the resolution?
So moved.
Thank you, Laura. Can I get a second?
Second.
Yeah, second by Julie.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, yeah. All right. Discussion. Go for it, Laura.
As always, the generosity of our community, our former staff members, former graduates. It's just amazing, especially in a year where we're all kind of all strapped to see them coming out and the same generous levels that they have done in more prosperous years, and it's very much appreciated.
Yeah, well said. Thank you. Go
I just
ahead.
wanted to point out that the names aren't updated on the resolution.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. The resolution at the bottom needs to be adjusted.
Yeah.
To have Jenna added. Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you. No. No, we're just noting it.
Yeah.
So one thing that I should add that I didn't, the total fiscal year 2025-2026 monetary contribution to date is $93,254.30, which again goes to Laura's point of our community continues to be just a wonderful support for our students and staff, and it is humbling to see. So we're very, very lucky and appreciative, so thank you. All right, if there's no further discussion, we'll move to a roll call vote, if you would, Laura.
Petway?
Aye.
Palmer? Aye. Dearest? Aye. Fodnas Mondas?
Aye.
Hool?
Aye.
Granlund?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion is passed.
Motion carries, thank you. All right, next up, we will go into discussion, reports, and information items. So we'll start with reports from members of the board, and we'll start with Michelle.
Yay.
Yay.
So seems like I've been busier than what I have down, so I'm sure I'm forgetting something. But I attended the marimba and jazz band concert over at CA. It was our first one, and it was so amazing. And there was mood lighting. It gave a real jazz feel. It was very fun getting to see the students who were amazing. I also attended the work session last week.
Last week, yeah.
Thank you. And we also, I work at Bethel University. We worked with the schools to collaborate on some gratitude and healing events that we had last week. They were amazing. They both felt different. One was more workshop kind of CEU for educators and social workers, and the other one was more for the community, in which Superintendent Stenvik kindly sent out invites to all the people. So thank you so much for that. But I just wanted to take a moment to acknowledge people who probably couldn't make it or weren't there. That it was just beautiful seeing everybody come together, and we all just wanted to say thank you to the community for being there for one another and having each other's backs during such a critical moment. And it was really fun to be able to see everybody come to the school who do not have children or who aren't as involved in the schools. So they got to come and see, our Performing Arts Center and see the school. And so there was just new energy added into the place. And so that was a really, really good time. And I appreciated being able to do that for folks. I attended a chair meeting, or maybe two, chair meetings. And then I just attended the Teacher of the Year. I'm going to let someone else say the name. I don't. Nicole Hergy. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to butcher it because I could see it in my head, but it was really nice to see another, ceremony of that. She gave some great words and appreciation to her role as well as the district, and it was very, very heartfelt and nice of her. And I also attended the subcommittee for community engagement and legislative action committee before this. We need to do something about these names. Just want to put that out there because I am struggling. I did it though, but anyway, thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Laura.
Well, I don't have a lot to report. I did attend the conferences over at the high school, the work study session last week, which we had boy, we had a really, really in-depth discussion on many of the topics that we're going to actually be voting on this evening, including the budgetary forecasts as well as some of the struggles that we're going to be having and how we're going to be working with those, and the great, incredible work that our administration always does on making sure that it stays as far away from the students as possible. It's very much appreciated. Also, the special call meeting and policy subcommittee just prior to this. We're just going to leave it at that.
Thank you. Jessica?
Thank you, Chair Granlund. Since our last meeting, like many of you, I attended the district gratitude event that was held for the community. And I also attended the work session last week. And in between those things, I attended a symposium at Mitchell Hamlin on social connectedness and the power of social connectedness as a driving force to create agency, to advance equity, to advance social justice, and to increase sense of belonging. And it was really interesting to attend that symposium, which was presented through like a public policy lens, sort of sandwiched in between these two discussions in our community. So the gratitude event and seeing sort of visibly the bridge between our district and our greater community, and then having discussion at the work session about how we sort of harness those relationships moving forward to continue to strengthen our community. Just made me think about a lot of those things. So I know we're going to be having more discussion about that moving forward, but I just wanted to kind of share some thinking that I've been doing about that as a result of that symposium. In addition to that, I attended PTO meetings at both Columbia Academy and Highland as they're planning to wrap up the end of the year with some celebrations and in-person activities for families, which is really exciting. I also attended Highland's Fine Arts Night last week, which was an incredibly packed event that featured not only a band concert and a choir concert of 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders, but also had a visual arts display. It had animation that students had created on a loop, like claymation projects, and a science fair. So there was a lot going on that night and lots of families coming together, which was great to see. I also went to one of the recent Columbia Heights Boosters meeting to get a sense of the ways that they're currently supporting our community and what they're looking to do over the next several months to support athletics and activities in our district. I attended the subcommittee on policy just prior to this meeting, and I was also able to attend the Teacher of the Year reception for Nicole Hergy. And I'm so pleased that she was honored and recognized by her peers, and also to see that 710 honored a social worker this year. It was really wonderful to see, and there were folks from all over the district, all of our buildings over at Valley View and the Media Center to celebrate her and the impact she has on students. So that was great. Thank you.
Wonderful, thank you. Julie?
Yeah, last week I attended the work session with all of you, and before this meeting, at the subcommittee on community engagement and legislative action committee. And then I did, as treasurer, have my review of December, January, and February financial information provided by Director Hennekins. And one of the things that I noted is we did receive our $18 million from our bond sales. So that is available now to spend down, which we've, as of end of February, I think we spent about 1.3, and that's just startup type costs. We'll be seeing more of that going out coming soon. But I do look at all the vouchers and all the checks that went out, considering my name is on them as a signature. So it's important that I get like personal into it. And I have, every time I've seen a new vendor or what I would consider just new, I generally Google the vendor and go, oh, that makes sense. So I haven't found anything that's unusual. And as I've gotten more and more experience, the vendors are very consistent. We generally use the same vendors, but also the expenses seem to be more consistent as well. So just to let you know, didn't see anything weird.
That sounds good. All right, thank you. I'll go next. Don't worry, Jenna, I didn't forget about you. So it's been a while since we've had a formal meeting. I've had lots of conversations with other elected officials. I spoke with Ilhan Omar's office about sort of, what we're doing in the district and how we're still continuing to respond to our students coming back and what the plan was there. I was also able to attend, to join Superintendent Stenvik and Representative Feist at Valley View for a tour, which was wonderful. I also was able on April 13th to go to the state capitol and provide testimony at the Ways and Means Committee to talk about the impact of the Operation Metro Surge on our school district, not only the impact on our students and staff and community as a whole, but also the financial impact that it is causing our school district, like many other school districts, what that looks like. I also was able to attend the gratitude event that the district had, and it was really wonderful. I actually had people come up even over the last week and tell me what a great opportunity it was, and they really enjoyed it. So much thanks given to Superintendent Stenvik and to Vice Chair Petway, along with Stephanie and Nick Zimet. It was a really wonderfully well put together event, and I think you all did a fantastic job with that. We had our work session last week as well, and Carnival at Valley View, which of course you can't miss that. And then there was some mutual aid events that happened as well, so I was able to attend a 1,000 cranes folding ceremony, or not ceremony, 1,000 cranes folding event in order to help raise funds, and I see that they've raised $3,000 from that, which is fantastic. So that's donations from all over the world coming in. So we sat and we folded a lot of cranes. There's still more to fold, and that's okay. That's part of what it's all about. And then on Saturday night, I also attended a benefit concert for our mutual aid as well. So that was a lot of fun. And then before this, I also attended the Teacher of the Year ceremony and the policy subcommittee. We decided to say no thanks to the chair meeting because we had a lot of other things going on right beforehand, and it was more important for us to go to the Teacher of the Year than it was to talk about what we're going to talk about right now. So, all right. Now we'll go to Jenna.
Thank you. So I was able to attend the Fine Arts Night, like Jessica, at Highland, which was an absolute blast. It had a showcase of music, choir, and band, as she said, but also art, and they had a science fair. So it was impressive to see so many elements put together. And it was just so joyous to see families coming to an event like this after so many canceled events. It had great turnout. It was packed, and everybody seemed to have a great time. And beyond that, I also have been serving on a planning committee for another end-of-year event that Highland will throw, and that will be another great way for families to come together.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
And also, you attended you're trying to get out of saying it, weren't you? The subcommittee meeting before.
Oh, that's right. And I attend. Yeah, that's right. The subcommittee meeting.
She was
That's
trying
right.
to get out of
Can't forget.
Wonderful. All right. Superintendent Stenvik.
I want to thank the voters for coming out to vote in our April election. It's unusual for us to have an election outside of November. However, it was necessary given the previous resignation of a board member. And just wanted to welcome our new member, Jenna Fadnes-Bandes. Compensatory revenue continues to be a serious financial issue for our school district. We did send out a sample letter for parents and community members to send to Minnesota lawmakers. Just as a reminder, there's only a few weeks left in the session. I participated in the Native American student trip to Mille Lacs for the Big Drum ceremony, and I appreciate Chief Virgil Wind for hosting our school group at that important event. As was mentioned, on April 17, we hosted a community gratitude event to thank the community for all of their support this year. The event included student speakers, parent testimonials, musical performances, and really great food. And the event was made possible by generous donations. Lastly, I recently had the opportunity to meet with Caroline Kennedy. And she asked me to be one of the 4 people to represent the courageous people of the Twin Cities in accepting the 2026 Profile and Courage Award. So this is a responsibility that I take very seriously. That's my report.
All right, thank you. Next up, we'll go to student school board representatives. Cade, what have you been up to?
I haven't really been up to much. I went to Mille Lacs with Zena, and that was very fun. Big Drum was a very nice and healing time. And honestly, that's kind of all I've been up to. Next week, we start layout for journalism, so I'm pretty excited for that. And I'm still writing my Indigenous representation story about just Indigenous representation in media and in like places like schools, because not a lot of schools have as much representation as we have. So that's all I've been up to.
Wonderful, thank you. All right, next up, we have Assistant Superintendent Bondo Niembwe.
Let's just see how he does.
And we're talking about the James R. Hemack Junior Achievement Fund. Welcome, Assistant Superintendent Bondo Niembwe.
Thank you. Good evening, Chair Gronland, Superintendent Stanvik, and members of the board. I am here to talk to you about the James R. Hemack Columbia Heights Junior Achievement Fund. Our mission, Columbia Heights Public School, creating worlds of opportunity for each and every learner, all belong and all succeed. All our core values will be represented tonight in this presentation, as you will see. And this is an informational presentation and no governance questions. So it is important to note that partnerships are essential to the academic learning and the livelihood of students. And so Columbia Heights has a strong partnership with Junior Achievement, and we've had it for the past few years. To give us some context, we know that student programs are central to academic success. And many high-impact programs rely on short-term variable funding. And that's why some schools are limited in programs that they're offered to their students. But we also know that budget constraints, of which we know of, and competing priorities limit sustainability. And so an endowment supports continuity, equity, long-term planning. And that's why we went and we're seeking an endowment. It's also important to know that as we look at programs that we bring for our students, we make sure that they're aligned to district priorities. You're familiar with our comprehensive achievement and civic readiness plan. And the 5th element in that is lifelong learning. And the programs that we'll be talking about today are indeed lifelong learning. And so our programs support the district strategic plan, Vision 2030, and they also advance equitable access to enrichment of programs for our students. More importantly, they reinforce the whole child. So we don't just focus on academic, we look at social, emotional, and provide students opportunity to participate in non-academic activities. And finally, we know that those programs strengthen the district's stability. So it's important for us to share about the James R. Emack Columbia Heights Junior Achievement Fund. It's a long name, but beautiful. So after partnering for so long with Junior Achievement, we realized that it was important for us to continue to provide our students with these high-quality programs. So we reached out to Jim Emack and made a proposal to fund our program for 10 years. Well, Jim came back with a big bang and agreed to donate $200,000 to Columbia Public School and start an endowment that will support and sustain this partnership with Junior Achievement for many years to come. So these programs are JA Biztown, JA Finance Park, and Personal Finance. So the goal of the endowment is that we will invest this money so that we can get the interest and use that interest to fund this program annually. So that's a long-term sustainable plan. So a little bit about Jim Emack. He's a Columbia graduate from the class of 1965. He was the alumni of distinction in 2018. He's an avid supporter of Columbia Heights students. He's a supporter of Junior Achievement Program, both locally and across the country. And we know that he's also a retired entrepreneur and business owner, and he continues to serve on the Junior Achievement Foundation Board of Directors. And Jim is in the room with us, for those who don't know him. So a little bit about the Junior Achievement Program. So at the elementary level, we have JA Biztown, a wonderful program that combines in-class learning with a day-long visit to a simulated town. This is where elementary school students, but in Columbia, it's only fifth graders, who get to go and do what you do on a regular basis. They learn how to work in a city, they vote for a mayor, and they get to work, get paid, spend money, and write checks. So they have clear objectives, and within a 4-hour period, they've experienced what we do as adults. Our second program is JA Finance Park. JA Finance Park is a middle school program, but in Columbia Heights, it's only for our 8th grade students. They provide personal financial planning and career exploration. When they go and participate in that culminating activity, they are able to identify career interests, they define taxes, and explain their purposes. They create successful budget using hypothetical life situations. My favorite is when these 8th graders go and they assign them the role of parent. You're a single parent with 2 kids, and you have to put your kids in daycare, and they have to come up with a budget and pay for daycare. And others are married with 2 children, or others are, the scenario goes on. And there are multiple stations where they get to experience this livelihood of learning, real-life experiences. Our third program is for high schoolers, and it's the financial literacy. Basically, students get to learn about financial literacy in a semester-long course that is led by a teacher, and the application are real-world applications, right? They apply these standards-based concepts to the real world, and they analyze the business solution principle through the use of a case study, so examples. We've had some history with Junior Achievement, and you can see starting in 2022-23 until 2025. Our 5th graders, you can see there is consistency in terms of our numbers. And in case you're wondering, in 22-23, North Park did not participate because they had already participated in Star Lab. That's why that number is 171, otherwise it would have been 225. And then you can see in 2025-26, we've been talking about drop in enrollment, and that's why we have 202 students as opposed to 220. When we look at 8th grade for Finance Park, in 23-24, pretty consistent, and then there is a jump for this year. It's because we went from only having the 8th grade avid students to having the whole 8th grade participating. And let me throw in a plug. JA Finance Park is happening tomorrow in the Highlander Center and the following day. So instead of going to the Junior Achievement, they created a mobile JA Finance Park, and so we're piloting it in our Highlander Center, and some of you are signed up to volunteer. And then the personal finance with Junior Achievement started this semester in 2026. So what do we say? A story, a picture is worth 1,000 words. You're laughing, so you've read it. I'm not going to read it for you, right? Here's another picture. And that wonderful volunteer is Jim Emack, who was there working alongside our students. And these are students from Highland. So the past 4 years, we've been able to send our students to Junior Achievement because every year we went back to Jim and he was able to provide some bridge funding. And the idea there was give a little and help a lot. And we know that for the next 100 years, Jim has given a lot, a guarantee for our students to experience what he experienced and what they can become as they go through the walls of Columbia Heights Public Schools. And so this endowment reaffirms a commitment to students and long-term success for our students. This picture is 2 years ago, I believe, when Jim recruited his former classmate from the class of 1965. Those are the young guys in the back with yellow shirts, and they were volunteering at JA Bistown. So to that, we say thank you, Jim, for supporting Columbia Heights Public Schools.
Yeah. Well said.
And I'll take any questions.
Go ahead, Michelle.
Yeah, so I actually had the opportunity to volunteer at Bistown last year. And it was so fun watching all the students with their credit cards go to the real looking US Bank ATM, and the people who were working the cafe who had to, serve lemonade and cookies, and you had to go buy it with your money. Like, it was so fun watching them. I worked at Excel with the students. It wasn't that, I don't think they enjoyed mine as much, but they learned something. But it was just fun watching them in their roles and how serious they took them. There was even a student who made business cards because he was gonna be like a shop owner, and he took it he dressed the part too. Like, it was really fun to watch. So I do just want to say thank you for giving them that opportunity. My daughter actually participated that day, and it was so fun to just watch them understand, right? They're having fun because they're doing something, but they're actually like, oh, this is what that is, or oh, I have to pay my bills, or I have to do this thing, or they weren't paying their light bills, their electric bills. So we're going around to different shops going, hey, where's my money? And so having them do that was just, it was fun. I love seeing the illumination, right, on a child's face when they finally understand something. And I love that this is a sustainable way, right? It's not just 5th grade. Then it's age appropriate into 8th grade, and age appropriate now into high school. And so, yeah, I think this is amazing, and I'm so happy about it. So thanks again.
Yeah. Julie.
I know I participated in Junior Achievement when I was in high school, and just felt like it was such a great experience. We actually made a product and had to sell it. But one of the things that is really fantastic about this program is that parents, during our strategic planning process, really wanted our kids to learn more about finance and personal finance. And this is actually a great program to help do that. And so what a great partnership to, that our community was able to voice that. And now we have a way of also educating our students in a real world manner. So thank you so much for your gift.
Jessica.
Thank you for the presentation. And I just want to add my own gratitude for your generous gift. I think this is a really powerful and engaging program. And as Julie said, it does meet a lot of needs of our families in our community. And as I actually am a parent of an 8th grader and a 5th grader this year, so they are both going to have their own junior achievement experiences in the next week. And I know from what they've been telling me about how these experiences are incorporated in the classroom. So this isn't a 1 or 2 day field trip. These are they prepare for this in their classes. I know my 8th grader's been working on a project as part of Finance Park. My 8th grader still talks about when he was a 5th grader and went to Biztown and got a speeding ticket. So he has been trying to scare my 5th grader a little bit to keep it slow. And my 5th grader is very excited to be part of UPS next week at Biztown. So he was telling me all about that. But I just wanted to extend my gratitude. You mentioned several times the importance of consistency of these experiences, and we're not always able as a district to extend these opportunities to students every year or students across entire grade levels. And so having an endowment to be able to offer this to all of our 5th graders and all of our 8th graders in perpetuity is incredible. So thank you very much for that.
Mr. Hemek, would you like to come up and say anything? You can go right by Director or Assistant Superintendent Niembla.
And I should add that on that same day when the class of 1965 was volunteering, Patricia was also there volunteering.
Thank you, Bondo. Well, Bondo's a heck of a salesman. But it really didn't take a lot of selling. He's such a terrific supporter of junior achievement, and he's such a wonderful, wonderful person. And yes, I'd like to acknowledge my wife, who's also a supporter of this program as well, my wife Pat, who's here with us. My junior achievement journey started in the auditorium right across the road here in 10th grade, where they put on a presentation for junior achievement, and it became a life-changing experience for me, participating in that J Company program we had. And my connection to junior achievements remained strong for the years. Actually, after graduating from the U and having some time in the military, I spent 16 years working professionally for junior achievement, and my dedication to the program. And then after that, I took up the entrepreneurial part of the experience from junior achievement and became involved with Great Clips as one of their earliest franchisees. And so for 35 years, that's what I did. But it's so pleasing and so such internal gratitude and affection for the Columbiate School District and my loyalty and commitment to this district. And Bondo says I have a group of the 1965 graduates. We come to a basketball game every year and have a good time and still stay connected. We'd have more volunteers in the classroom, but if you start figuring out the math from 1965 to now, we're getting tougher and tougher to be on our feet. So it becomes a little more difficult to recruit the volunteers. But I'm so excited for this program and for the sustaining part to it. And I'll just throw out one little added little twist to this, and Superintendent Zena and Bondo know, and we're hopefully establishing and going to establish another program with junior achievement at the high school level called 3DE, which is just incredibly transformative experience. It's in 68 high schools in the United States right now, 3 in the St. Paul district, Harding, Washington Tech, and Como Park, and the results have been just incredible in terms of the increased student achievement, the reduction of disciplinary action, the attendance growing, and very bottom line statistically proven results of the program. And I'm sure hopefully you'll hear more about that in the future, and we'd like hopefully to be starting that program here. So just the final thing though, you folks have just been through hell and back over the last few months, and you've done just a wonderful job in the public image of of being so professional and so supportive, and I just have to commend the leadership of the district, the school board, the staff, the faculty, the students, in terms of how professionally you've handled this. I'm very, very proud to be part of this district and having experienced that. And you guys just, you went through such a difficult time. And thank you very much. It made me very proud, and my colleagues, the other graduates of the district, very proud of what you've done. So thank you.
Thank you so much for that.
You're welcome.
As a parent of a current 12th grader and a 9th grader, my kids have missed most of these junior achievement opportunities because they weren't in the right grade for it. I don't think they quite made it. And there's so much value in all of it. And I'm very excited to volunteer tomorrow, so I get to finally see what all of my friends have been talking about with their younger kids. And also just thank you very much for your comments about how it's been and acknowledging that. Thank you very much. That means a lot. All right, with that, we'll go over here in a second. We're going to present in recognition and deep appreciation. We have a plaque for you. Yeah.
Oh, did we all, I'm like, are we supposed to?
We get to share.
All right, it says, in recognition and deep appreciation of James R. Kemak, alumni of distinction, for establishing an endowment that will support Columbia Heights Public Schools students in perpetuity through financial and business education.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, sure.
Oh, yeah. You're part of this. Heck yeah. No, full board picture now.
Oh, wow.
You want to do it under the mission? Yeah, let's do it under the mission. All right, well, now we're going to shift.
Stay where I am. I just stay. Yes, that's perfect. Yeah, yes, center
You need to be in
stage.
the, yeah, both of you in the, yeah. Oh, you're fine. All right, thank you. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
I'm gonna cry. Forward. Yep. So great.
I almost tripped on it twice.
Into a fancy box. Thank you again.
Oh, thank you so much.
It's wonderful to meet you.
Okay, thank you.
Take care. And this is the portion where we say, you're welcome to stay, but you don't have to. But we give them that heads up ahead of time, so. Wow, what a gift. All right, you take a deep breath so I don't cry. Next up, we have the ESSA grants with Director of Teaching and Learning for now, Tara Tuckrow. It was in the approval, like it's not, it's a
Personnel
good
report.
thing, in the personnel report. I know, it sounded way more ominous than it was.
Yes, it did.
It is not ominous, everybody. Look at the personnel report. It's a good thing.
For now.
I did wonder if this is my last time doing this one or not, but who knows?
I had a.
It's been years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good evening, Chair Granlund, members of the board, Superintendent Stenbeck. I'm here annually to share about our federal ESSA grants, our Every Student Succeeds Act grants, which include Title I, II, III, and IV. Our mission in Columbia Heights Public Schools of creating worlds of opportunity for each and every learner, all belong, all succeed. And this evening's presentation focuses a lot on excellence, collaboration, integrity, and innovation. And our Columbia Heights core values are aligned with the Columbia Heights Board of Education equity statement. I'm here tonight with information on our allocations for the FY27 school year, and I will be returning May 12th with an action item seeking approval of the preliminary federal ESSA grant funding. Our focus of a lot of our title grants focuses on all parts of our Vision 2030, all three areas, but with a big focus on academic growth. So really looking at how we support with resources to support our students as well as our staff with academic achievement and growth. Title I's purpose is to ensure that all children have a fair, equal, and significant opportunity for a high-quality education. The key activities are determined at the school and district level and are decided by a team, which includes families, students, and staff. In Columbia Heights, we have focused our key activities on supplemental materials to support academic support, instructional coaching and leadership, family engagement, which we heard a lot about this evening, about the different events happening, support for students who are experiencing homelessness or in foster care, and then we are also required by federal law to support non-publics within our school district, which qualify. So within Columbia Heights, we have two schools that qualify, Immaculate Conception and Little Voyagers, and we have a strong collaboration with them. And so each of them have the opportunity to accept the funding or not, depending on if they want to, and we work with them throughout the school year. So with non-public, they're able to support with materials and a Title I teacher. And for Title I, Immaculate Conception has accepted the funding, so we've been working with them on that. Our projection for FY27 recently came out, and the projection up there is around $969,000. On the right, you'll see a comparison to previous years. We receive an initial allocation around this time, around May, and then we receive another allocation later on, which means it's an increase or it's a decrease. Well, we don't usually decrease, it's an increase. And the reason it increases is federal government gives the state the allocations for the state. The state divides it up by the school districts that qualify for it. And if the school districts or the schools choose not to, that funding goes back into the state, and then they reallocate it to the school districts who have said, yes, I would like the funding. So usually we'll see an increase or we will see a zero change when it comes to the final allocation. But looking at our initial allocation, it has gone down a little from last school year, which isn't an indication on our school district. It's an indication on how the state is doing itself economically. So in comparison to other states, our allocation as a state went down, which would mean that ours would also go down. Looking at how we estimate how we're using the funding for next school year, the majority of funding is on staffing. We really focus in on the fact that having high quality teachers, coaches, and leaders are what will support our students best. Title II is focused on professional development to increase access to effective educators through professional development, recruitment, and retention. And once again, the key activities are determined by a team. Our key activities in Columbia Heights include coaching, professional development around the key areas of math, science, literacy, AVID, PLCs, and MTSS, our multi-tiered systems of support, and then supporting our non-public. And our non-public in the past that have agreed to the Title II funding has been Little Voyagers and Immaculate. Our projection for FY27 for Title II has gone up in our initial allocation. So it's around $143,000. And once again, we do spend quite a bit on staffing. So that instructional coaching is a big piece in here to support our staff. We have found that professional development, the one and done, doesn't work well for supporting our students with academic growth. And really that coaching where the coach can go into the classroom and support the teacher and provide that on-the-spot professional development or modeling or planning has shown a larger increase in that. So we're able to support it with Title II. Title III's focus is on our multilingual learners, so aims to ensure that English language learners and support with English language proficiency and meeting challenging state academic content. And our Title III key activities include teacher support, language support, family involvement, and our non-public mandatory support, which includes Immaculate Conception. And our projection for Title III for next school year has gone down quite a bit. And the majority of this, once again, is in staffing. It supports our liaisons in our schools, as well as our coordinator and coaching within that. We also in the past have received Title IIIA. Title IIIA supports schools that have had an increase of new to country students and families. Last school year, we did not qualify for that funding as it's dependent upon what other schools are seeing as well. So if we are one of the top schools seeing a huge increase in it, we received the funding. Last school year, we didn't. We don't usually know this until October. So I added it on there just in case we do receive the funding, but we won't be notified yet until then. And the focus of Title IIIA funding really is on supporting our new to country families and students. So with family involvement and supplemental language materials. Title IV focus is really on that well-rounded education and activities to support safe and healthy students, including technology to improve academic and digital literacy. So within well-rounded, it supports in Columbia Heights STEM, it supports accelerated learning, it supports arts, safe and healthy, supports physical education and social emotional. Technology is professional learning tools as well as professional development. And then our non-public mandatory supports include Little Voyagers and Immaculate Conception. Our projection for Title IV has also went down from our initial allocation in FY26. And the majority of this funding really does go to support innovativeness in these areas. So working with our arts teachers in our STEM, our new STEM classes at the high school, and supporting with materials, professional development, and resources. So I'll be back again on May 12th, seeking approval of the preliminary federal ESSA grant funding for the 26-27 school year.
Wonderful, thank you.
Questions?
Do we have any questions?
I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry at all. I just chuckled because this is just what we do now. We just go financial stuff, questions. Go ahead, Julie.
I just have a question about, on every slide, we have that anticipated rollover from the previous year. Could you explain how that, it looks like pretty significant dollars is rolling forward. Could you explain why?
Depending on each school year, we work with the finance department to look at the allocation we have and plan out our activities. In some years, and we have seen that recently, a lot of different things has happened that have not allowed us to do some of our planned activities. So we work with Director Hennekins and his team to say these are the activities that probably won't happen and the funding is still there. Each of these titles have different requirements. So for example, Title IV that's up here, we can carry money over. And then there's requirements and compliance around how long you can carry money over, all the different pieces for us. So we work with them closely on that. But from what we've anticipated or what we've planned, or if we plan for different professional development that didn't happen, then we have carryover from that.
Thank you.
Great question. Any other questions? Go ahead, Jessica. I'll go ahead.
I just was looking for some clarification around what you were saying about how the states are allocated money. So you're saying that the state allocation that they get from the federal government is based on, like the changes in that you were saying is based on how well the state is doing?
So the way that it's calculated, yes, you're correct. So looking at the federal level, they have an amount allocated. The state receives the funds from the federal government dependent upon different numbers and census that they look at to see economically how the state is doing. So it could be that we're a very diverse school district and we're sitting here in comparison to a different state and getting a different amount because it's dependent upon the states. So dependent upon the state allocation, then it's divided into school districts based upon our needs and supports.
Okay. So could you give me an example of a criteria that goes into looking at how, like, would you say how states are doing? Like, what's an example of something that they look at?
I can get you the exact calculations that they have. Because originally when I looked at it, it was like, oh, you go by this number, but it really goes by the census on your economic pieces of the state. So I can get the exact.
Like
poverty
income,
rates.
poverty level, like?
Poverty, yes,
Okay.
yes, yep.
Okay, thank you, that's helpful.
I don't know the exact number, so I didn't want to say it's exactly this, but they look at the overall economic for the state.
I see, thank you.
Yes.
Helpful. Go ahead, Julie.
I was just, is there a And I notice it says conferences and things like that. Is there a process that has to go through approval for each one of these types of grants? So you guys administer, like having to fill out forms and go, okay, this is the conferences that our teachers are going to attend, or anything like that? How much administrative work is the title money?
Quite a bit.
Okay.
Yes, it's a lot. We have a process for each of these pieces. It has to go through pre-approval. It has to match the goals of the grant. Within these numbers are multiple categories, and within that has to have a goal, and all the activities have to match that goal. And through working with the finance department, he's back there smiling, nodding his head. We go through a lot of auditing just on federal title grants. And there has to be a process that's in compliance with the Department of Education for each of them.
Thank you.
You're right, there's a lot in there.
Any other questions? All right, no other questions, but we will see this as an action item on May 12th. Thank you very much. Oh, next up, we have action items. First up is discontinuance and reduction of positions for 2026-2027 with Director Lindsay Bennett and Director Brian Hennekins.
Chair Granlund, members of the board, Superintendent Stenvik. Last week, we discussed at the work session information about position reductions for next school year. We do have to make budget reductions due to declining enrollment and possible state funding of compensatory aid, revenue being decreased. Staff reductions were determined based on enrollment numbers. So tonight, we're here seeking approval of this resolution.
Okay. This is a resolution, so I will read it. Resolution relating to the termination and non-renewal of the teaching contracts of probationary teachers. Whereas the following persons are probationary teachers in the Independent School District Number 13, see list below. Be it resolved by the School Board of Independent School District Number 13 that pursuant to Minnesota Statutes 122A.40 subdivision 5, the teaching contracts of those persons listed on page 2 of this resolution, probationary teachers in Independent School District Number 13, are hereby terminated and not renewed at the close of the current 2025-2026 school year. Be it further resolved that written notice be sent to said teachers regarding termination and non-renewal of their contract as provided by law, and that said notice shall be insubstantially in the following form. Notice of termination and non-renewal. It then says, Dear blank, you are hereby notified that at a regular meeting of the School Board of Independent School District Number 13 held on April 28th, 2026, a resolution was adopted to terminate your contract effective at the end of the current school year and to not renew your contract for the 2026-2027 school year. Said action of the board is taken pursuant to Minnesota Statute 122A.40 subdivision 5. Can I get a motion to accept the resolution?
So moved.
Thank you, Julie. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Laura.
Chair
Discussion.
Granlund, I think you read the wrong resolution, or they might be out of order.
There's two.
Yeah,
So right
There's
now-
two of them. I have
Yes.
the probationary teachers.
Yes, that'd be the third one.
That's what's listed on the first.
Somebody,
That's what's listed first in mine and on board book.
oh, the
Yep.
probationary one?
the resolution for probationary teacher terminations, I think is erroneously attached to the agenda item on discontinuance and reduction of positions.
Thank you for clarifying. Yep. So
Okay.
Want to do probationary teachers first?
we'll do that one since I just read it.
That sounds
Yep,
good.
Yep.
Parliamentarian, is that out
Yeah,
of
is
order?
that okay that we,
Go out of order of the agenda.
Sorry, hold, I'm just
Yep.
trying to understand this.
it was also in
Okay.
my order of paper.
Chair Granlund, I'm noticing that we actually don't have a resolution for discontinuance and reductions of positions attached to any of the agenda items. So,
Oh,
Yeah, this one just
Yeah,
got
so
put in there twice.
we could either move to take up the resolution on teacher terminations, item 10C first, while we figure that out, or we could pause while we get that out to members.
I suggest we take a quick pause, because this is serious enough that I want to make sure that we have,
Oh, that's the
do I have, all right.
Do we have to make a motion for that?
I think we would,
No, they're
I don't
both
think,
the
I think we can
probationary
just
teachers. This is
pause
their
on
both
this.
stuff. What?
But I think if we do move this out of order, we'd actually have to vote on that.
Yeah, we'd have
We'd
to
have to
take a
change,
motion.
to change the agenda midstream. We've never.
Let's,
You call for a short recess?
thank you. Yeah, I would like to call for a short recess. Can I get a motion to call for a 5-minute recess?
So moved.
Thank you, Julie. Can I get a second? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, we're gonna take a quick 5-minute hold, please.
Stand up.
And I said,
So
so
you can,
moved.
and there's no second.
It's a 5-minute, so we have less than 30 seconds left and we'll come back to order. I'll call us to order.
Okay. You're good.
All right. Meeting called back to order at 7:11. If you could please call roll again, Laura.
Petway.
Here, sorry. It's weird.
Palmer here. Maderas.
Here.
Bondas.
Here.
Hool.
Here.
And Grenland.
Here. Thank you very much. Before we move on, there was a motion on the table. Would you like to?
I would withdraw my motion.
All right.
I will second that.
All right, thank you. Okay. Now we will move forward in the appropriate manner. We will start with the discontinuance and reduction of positions for 2026, 2027. This is a resolution, so I will read it out. Resolution discontinuing and reducing positions due to enrollment in departmental efficiencies. Whereas the School Board of Independent School District Number 13 adopted a resolution on January 20th, 2026, directing the administration to make recommendations for reductions in programs and positions, and whereas said recommendations have been received and considered by the school board, be it resolved by the School Board of Independent School District Number 13 as follows. The following positions or positions thereof be discontinued due to enrollment, program elimination, circular changes, and curricular changes and departmental efficiencies. 11.0 FTE net licensed teacher positions. 2.0 FTE licensed / non-affiliated district center positions. 2.0 FTE non-licensed secondary positions. The motion for the adoption of the foregoing resolution was duly, can I get a motion to accept the resolution?
So moved.
Thank you, Julie. Can I get a second?
Second.
Say a second by Laura. Discussion. I will go first. We don't have the list of teachers that are the positions that we don't have the list of positions. Is that in board book now? Because that was not included in what we were passed out.
These three?
Chair
are
Gilliland,
not-
this is
the position.
This is the resolution discontinuing the positions, and then the next two
okay.
resolutions.
Got it. Yep. Okay. All right. I think okay. Any other discussion? Go ahead, Laura.
We had extensive conversations about this at our work study session, and this is just about the overall impact that we've had to make with our budgetary changes and our enrollment challenges, and yeah, a lot was taken into consideration, hence lots of discussion.
Other discussion? Go ahead, Jessica.
I just wanted to note, I want to start off, I guess, by noting that this resolution does identify 15 FTE positions that are being eliminated. And I just want to be very clear that that doesn't mean that there will be 15 terminations of employees. As Laura mentioned, we did have discussion about this at the work session, and many of these cuts are these eliminations are coming as a result of, or we're able to make them as a result of attrition. Not all of them. That being said, I want to be very clear that 15 full-time positions in the district has a devastating impact across all of our buildings and on our staff and on our families. I know that Superintendent Stenvik and her leadership team, including all of the building principals, work very hard to find ways of balancing our budget that have the least impact possible and that prioritize our mission in the classroom. However, there's no way to do that with 15 positions across the district and not have detrimental impact. I'm really frustrated that we're in this position as a district right now, through, even though we've had very strong community support for our last referendum, even though I know that our administrative team, including Superintendent Stenvick and our entire school board, has worked very hard to make good budget decisions and try to provide all of our students with equitable academics and opportunities in and outside of the classroom. When Director Bennett was talking about this resolution, she mentioned that we are facing declining enrollment and uncertainty about revenue coming from the state. And while we are seeing declining enrollment, and that does have an impact on our budget, the reason we're in this position and having to cut another $1 million from our district is most related to the uncertainty of funding cuts that we're seeing coming from the state, particularly around compensatory funding in the neighborhood of $3.7 million, and in potential special education cuts. We have done a lot of advocacy. I know our staff, our community members, our parents continue to do a lot of advocacy to talk to our lawmakers about how these cuts impact our district. But we are a small district. $1 million to us to cut in a single year from our district is major, right? 15 positions. Having to cut potentially close to $4 million from a budget of a district our size is going to continue to eliminate programs and opportunities across all of our buildings. It's going to put our students in a really perilous position of not having the same opportunities as our neighboring district through no fault of district budget management, no fault of our supportive community. And as a parent in this district who saw many years of escalating cuts and then has been able to see some consistency in funding through the support of the community the last couple of years, it's really heartbreaking to have to sit at this table and be back in a position where we're cutting $1 million again. And so I just want everyone in the community to understand that. I want our staff to understand that we recognize that this level of cuts across our district has impact on their working conditions. And just to make sure that we're advocating publicly in this board meeting to say that this is going to have impacts over many years. Cutting $1 million this year is just the beginning for us, unfortunately, if these proposed legislative cuts end up hitting our district the way that they look like they could. So I know we'll all continue to advocate. I hate that we're in this position, and I hope that we're in a position next year to be able to restore essential programs and positions and be able to show our community that all of the families in Columbia Heights, our students in Columbia Heights, matter just as much as students in our neighboring communities, and they deserve the same opportunities as everyone else. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, and very, very well said.
Couldn't add to that.
Last week at our work session when we were discussing the proposed cuts, and when we hear it from state level legislature, they're pretty, I will say it, and at times it feels very flippant that we are facing these cuts like it should be no big deal. Other districts are weathering it, but our district can't afford it. And we had 2 wonderful years where we were not in this position, and we climbed ourselves out of a hole. Our school district is financially solid. It's our partners at the legislature and at the federal government that are not being good partners in this. And it is incredibly frustrating to sit here from a place where we are fiscally responsible and had been thriving within the confines of all of the school finance, all of that red tape and all of the things in our admin team, our superintendent, and those of us sitting around this table, we have advocated time and time again. Our community has advocated time and time again. And yet to sit here and have to pass this through nothing that we have done is incredibly upsetting. Last week at our work session, they talk about the Blue Ribbon Task Force, and it was called the Blue Ribbon Death Squad because that is how it feels. Because the legislature not funding us and thinking that it is nothing, that it is not a big deal, that we should weather it, that is truly the definition of death by 1,000 paper cuts. They do not care, is what it feels like. And yet, this is the hardest meeting that we will have all year, and this is the hardest meeting that we've had in 3 years. And we do not take this. This is serious. We take this very seriously, and we continue to advocate because you are correct, Jessica, that this is just the beginning unless we do something. So to the community members, to the staff, to everybody watching this, I am sorry. And also, we will continue to partner with you to try and make sure that this does not define us for the next few years. Soapbox off. Any other discussion? Go ahead.
Thank you. I do just have a couple of questions about the reduction of positions themselves. So just a question to Director Bennett and Director Hennekins. Can you just talk a little bit about how, when you're looking at, the overall $1 million cut, what considerations go into identifying where those cuts could or would land?
We did look a lot at class sizes, so due to decrease in enrollment, some class sizes at the secondary were 12, 15 kids in a class. We're running 27 in an elementary class. So we did look at reductions there where we can combine classes. Also looking at the elementaries, it's a little bit easier because you can see each grade level, how many students are in that grade level. And we were able to make one grade level cut at each elementary school just based on numbers.
Thank you. And are the building principals involved in recommending these proposals?
Yes, so it's a lot of meetings with building principals, building administration, district center, really looking at where we can make reductions, again, trying to keep them away from the classroom as much as possible. But over the years, we have made cuts away from the classroom, so we really are running out of places to cut away from the classroom.
Thank you.
Great questions. Any other questions, discussion? All right, it's a resolution, so we'll need a roll call vote.
Petway.
Aye.
Palmer. Aye. Maderas.
Aye.
Bandas.
Aye.
Hool.
Aye.
Granlund.
Aye. Resolution carries. All right. Next up, we have the resolution discontinuance, reduction programs, positions, non-affiliated.
So Chair Granlund, members of the board, the second resolution is to approve for the termination, elimination, and reduction of non-affiliated, non-licensed positions for the 26-27 school year.
All right. It's a resolution, so I will read it. Whereas the following are positions where employees in Independent School District Number 13, be it resolved by the School Board of Independent School District Number 13 that those persons or positions listed above in Independent School District Number 13 are hereby terminated, eliminated, or reduced at the close of the current 2025-2026 school year, or the date otherwise noted. Be it further resolved that written notice be sent to employees regarding termination, elimination, or reduction. Can I get a motion to accept the resolution?
So moved.
Thank you, Laura. Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you, Julie. Discussion? Go ahead, Laura.
Just to verify that these individuals have been notified.
They have been notified, and at least one of them's been asked to reapply for another position, so.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. Yep, great question. Any other discussion?
Well, everything that was said in the last one, we'll just replay
Related
it.
to this, yes.
Especially Jessica's amazingly impassioned speech, so I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, if there's no further discussion, we'll move to a roll call vote, if you would, Laura.
Petway? Aye. Palmer? Aye. Maderas?
Aye.
Fodnas? Bondas?
Aye.
Hool?
Aye.
Granlund?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Resolution carries. All right. Last up, we have resolution probationary teacher terminations.
Yes, Chair Granlund, members of the board, Superintendent Stenvick. This is the second of two resolutions being brought forward to the board. One was brought back in March. This is the non-renewal of licensed positions for teacher contracts.
All right, thank you very much. It's a resolution, so I will read this as well. Resolution relating to the termination and non-renewal of the teaching contracts of probationary teachers. Whereas the following persons are probationary teachers in Independent School District Number 13. Be it resolved by the School Board of Independent School District Number 13 that pursuant to Minnesota Statutes 122A.40 subdivision 5, the teaching contracts of those persons listed on page 2 of this resolution, probationary teachers in Independent School District Number 13, are hereby terminated and not renewed at the close of the current 2025-2026 school year. Be it further resolved that written notice be sent to said teachers regarding termination and non-renewal of their contract as provided by law, and that said notice shall be in substantially the following form. Notice of termination, non-renewal. Dear blank, you are hereby notified that at a regular regular meeting of the School Board of Independent School District Number 13 held on April 28th, 2026, a resolution was adopted to terminate your contract effective at the end of the current school year and to not renew your contract for the 2026-2027 school year. Said action of the board is taken pursuant to Minnesota Statute 122A.40 subdivision 5. Can I get a motion to accept the resolution?
So moved.
Thank you, Julie. Second, I'll second it. Discussion. This is the one that I originally read erroneously first, so if it sounded oddly familiar, that's why. And again, go back and listen to all of our responses to the first one when we get back. Go ahead, Superintendent Stenvick.
Just to clarify for folks, the board approves these resolutions in 2 rounds. So as Director Bennett mentioned, the first round was in March, and those were largely due to performance, licensure, other required reasons for people needing to not come back, such as the tier of their license, right? Between the round 1 and round 2, the district, working with the building administrators, do everything they can and look at all of the possibilities to keep as many people as possible. And remain within our school board policy. Between round 1 and 2, the district did receive some retirements and some resignations. So between round 1, where there were required non-renewals, and a lot of the resignations or retirements, of those 15 positions, there really weren't that many more left. So I hope there's a little bit of solace in that. And then secondly, I would just want to really recognize the fiscal management of the school district, of this school board, and the transparency that this school board requires in terms of all of the school district finances. Because with the loss of over 100 students since October, we know that that's about $1.7 million. But because the work of this board that you all have done over the last few years means that rather than cutting 1.7 tonight, we're looking at 1. So Chair Granlund, you mentioned, you talked about fiscal responsibility, but I just wanted to give a little bit of that perspective.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? All right, no other discussion. It's a roll call vote. If you would, please, Laura.
Thank you. Petway?
Aye.
Palmer? Aye. Maderas?
Aye.
Fodnas Bondas?
Aye.
Poole?
Aye.
Granlund?
Aye. Resolution carries. All right, thank you very much. Next up, we lose Director Bennett, but we retain Director Hennekins up here for the budget summary, revised 2025-2026 budget. 2025-2026?
All right. Bear with me a little second. I'm going to zoom
Revise
this
the
in.
school year budget.
Thank you, Chair Granlund, members of the board, and Superintendent Stenbeck. Let me do some zooming here.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's a little bit bigger. Oops, there we go. I think that will be good enough for this. Okay. All right. One of the tough things in this conversation around funding is in this conversation, I'm presenting a budget that is a good budget. We're in fiscal year 26 right now, this is the revised budget for this school year. But in this conversation of staffing, we're looking into next year. So I think that's one thing that I want to start with. Already mentioned was the loss of enrollment, and if you look at that enrollment this year, it's just over 100 kids, but if you compare this year to last year, it's more like 160, almost 170 kids in difference. Little perspective on that, over the last 4 years, we've seen consistent growth in our enrollment. And our enrollment actually in the last year peaked at the beginning of last year over the last 30 years. So we were at a high point in our enrollment, but obviously there was some extenuating circumstances this year that did not help that throughout the year, and that loss of over 100 kids throughout the year here. And then we've talked about compensatory aid and what that forecast looks like. The projection model for state aids for next year just came out this morning. I looked at that. And if you look at our enrollment, you look at the compensatory aid as it is today, it's just over $4 million less than state aid for next year. And so typically you don't want to see that go down. There's a revenue increase of 2 to 3% on our per pupil for our general formula. And so typically you would see, if enrollment holds steady, we're just going to see that, tick up a little bit. But now we're looking at that $4 million. One other thing to note, yes, we're making this $1 million adjustment just because of that enrollment change that we talked about. There's more than the general formula reduction in aid that we receive. There's also reduction in our compensatory aid that we receive. So given the decrease in enrollment for next year, even if the legislature acts, we're still losing $1.6 million. So I just want to stress the importance of, and that's not even talking about the special education conversations. I just wanted to stress the importance of the action that we're taking now, or did take just previously, is very important, even though I'm looking at a revised budget. We're talking about a revised budget. I'm asking to approve a revised budget that looks very positive. So I wanted to start with that and spend just 2 minutes on that. We did review this in depth in the last meeting, and we talk about that a lot. Somebody clocked me and it was an hour. So we did spend some significant time discussing this. So I'm just going to kind of go over the highlights of the revised budget and the changes from the preliminary budget. So starting at the top, in the left column here, we have our audited June 2025. So these are the reserves that we had in our funds at the end, audited by our auditing firm. So we had just under $8.5 million in the unassigned, and just under 14% fund balance, and we have $3.5 million in the assigned fund for construction projects, some for special education, some for EL. So that's what that reserve is for. And then I'm going to kind of move from left to right and just on the highlights, so we kind of move across to see. So this year in our unassigned, currently with the revised budget, about $48.5 million in revenues. That's actually up a little bit, about $600,000 from the preliminary budget. And there was some things that caused that increase in revenue. We have, $300,000 additional revenue in grants. We have $400,000 additional revenue, $300,000 to $400,000 in compensatory. And so we're seeing increase in revenues in areas. We have additional revenue and interest earned because we have a fund balance right now. So all of those, help us in that revenue category overall in the fund. And then on the expenditures, we actually see a decrease of about $900,000. We've talked about that. So in original budget around $1 million, revenues over expenses, and in the revised budget about $2.4 million. So an ending fund balance of about $10.8 million, which is about 16% fund balance. So that's where we predict right now we would land, which is again within that fund balance policy of the school board of 10 to 18%, and maintaining that assigned fund balance. So I talked about, we've talked a lot about compensatory, so we'll start there. Between compensatory revenue and our EL revenue is the total in this category. They combine them together as far as how the revenue and how we code that coming in. So again, that increased by over $300,000 from what we anticipated in the preliminary as our final numbers came in for the previous year. Compensatory funding is one of those that we get in arrears. So our October numbers for this year will affect our revenue for next year. Our revenue for this year is affected by our October numbers for the previous school year. So again, that's why sometimes loss in students, it's not a full impact in that first year. It's the full impact in that second year. And the other thing I mentioned was our grants, an increase there. It's about $3.4 million. We received additional grants than we anticipated in the prelim. We're also attempting to spend down some grants with additional, they're the second or third year of their grant ending. So we have a little bit of expenditures left there. We're actively applying for grants. We have a position specifically that we're hoping that a grant comes in so that we can maintain that position that's on the cut list right now. But we don't know yet. So right now, I anticipate this number to go down a little bit in our prelim, but it did go up this year, which is fantastic. It helps support additional staff for students. You get down to the bottom down here, and again, I talked about those increases a little bit. So total budget in the general fund, so this is Fund 1, of almost $69.5 million. and our expenses at just under $67 million. So again, about $2.5 million of revenue more than expenses, and so about 17.6 million balance. So food service fund has been a well-funded fund in recent history. It continues to be. We continue to work on our expenses, or on our staffing as the enrollment went down, which will affect that fund balance this year a little bit. Also, we've been working on kitchen improvements in the district. We worked on Columbia Academy previously. Last summer, the high school. This year, we're working on Valley View Elementary with that, kind of combining projects with our IEQ project there. So a little bit of a spend down, but not much in that area. Community education, we were able to rebound that fund a little bit in the previous year, fiscal year 25, through that audit. So this year, we in 26 here now, we anticipate a little bit of spend down again. Still, it's a challenging fund. Our community education funding has not increased. The general funding that we get, a lot of the funding for the program is fees that we receive. And we do scholarship money, and we get pathways dollars, we get grant money to help support the family so that they can afford it. But it's been a tough fund really since COVID. So you go back to the 1920 school year, and it's not our district only, it's districts across the state seeing. But we do have a positive fund balance there, which there's a lot of districts that do not have a positive fund balance there. So we're fortunate in that, but we continue to work hard at that fund. Building construction fund is that Fund 6 capital projects levy, the voter-approved levy for the district. Again, all of that fund, our long-term facility maintenance fund and our capital fund, we've been working over the last few years to build those up a little bit, knowing we have large projects coming. And spending down those funds so that we have $0 in those funds at the end of the year is very challenging, because as years transition over, as things come up, like a handful of years ago, about a decade ago now probably, but there's a pipe that runs under this facility that burst under the parking lot that fed the heat for Highland. And that was a very expensive, pop-up project. To have to dig up the parking lot in the family center and replace that pipe temporarily. And then that kicked off a project to put boilers over there, so they had an independent heat plant, so we didn't have this problem again. So these are the reasons why we have these funds, and we want fund balances there, because those things don't happen for $10,000 or $20,000. They happen for $500,000 or $750,000, so they're really big things. So it's important for us to have a good fund balance there to support that as things move forward. Debt service, again, for bonds that we've sold in the district in the past, so that's money that we levy and then money that goes out. We're able to levy a little bit more, so there's always a balance there so that we can cover those payments. And as that balance builds, then there's under-levying that happens and the money goes back, so we don't necessarily get to keep that money. And then now we have the building construction fund, as Member Houle mentioned earlier, that $18.5 million. We're anticipating to spend about $3.3 million this year. We received a couple first pay apps, and we've had the architectural fees, so that $1.3 million. And we just received a handful, probably 6, 7, maybe 8 pay apps that are still smaller, because the companies are just starting. The project really kicks off in June. But in June's going to be a big month, so we're going to see some big ones coming in June. Companies are buying the supplies they need to kick off in June, and so we're going to start seeing those larger bills. So we do anticipate roughly that. If it's under that a little bit, more of it comes in July because of how things, supplies come in and product comes in, or the billing lag, but which isn't a big deal with that. So, and then our dental fund is we're self-insured for dental, so we have a fund that supports the payments out for dental. We collect the revenue for it to support that. Anticipate a little bit of downspend this year. We didn't raise dental rates this past year. We're not raising dental rates currently for this next rollout of coming in May here for as people are enrolling for benefits for next year, but we will have to increase the following year. So we're well funded there, so I'm not terribly concerned about that, but we will have to have an increase after this next school year. And then the OPEB trust for post-employment benefits, again, is well funded, and we continue to support that. And it continues to earn interest, and our expenses in and expenses out range a little bit, but it's around $300,000. So, again, the total funds looks a little different than normal because we have that extra $18.5 million in there. And we don't have large expenses, so our revenues, far exceed our expenses when you look at all funds, but that's the biggest reason why. So that's the revised budget. Again, seeking approval from the school board for the revised budget this evening.
All right, thank you. Can I get a motion to approve the revised budget?
So moved.
Julie, can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Jessica. Discussion. One thing I want to say is, again, at a time where school finances are particularly under the microscope, and we have several districts that touch us that are not fiscally responsible. It seems as though there's some fiscal discrepancies happening. Money is missing. All of those things, but budgets haven't been provided in a timely fashion to the state. And I think, again, this transparency that this board has and the questions that we ask and the thorough discussion that you bring us and that we had at our work session, because as we always say, but it is incredibly true, we had an incredibly long, in-depth discussion about a lot of these different areas and had an opportunity to talk with Director Hennekens about those things. I think, again, our school district is incredibly fiscally responsible, and especially when you are looking and hearing about what's happening in other districts around the metro and around the state. So thank you for your stewardship on that. Thank you for your leadership with that as well, Superintendent. And the rest of the board members for asking these really hard-hitting questions and continuing to call out for transparency. Yeah. Any other Go ahead, Laura.
I just have one real quick. Yep. Now, the fund right now for the building fund, we have that in some sort of an interest-bearing account, I would assume?
We gain interest. We have investments with that fund. With those bonded dollars, there's a cap on how much interest we can earn. So we work with Ellers, our financial advisor, to monitor those investments to make sure that we're maximizing our interest that we can earn, but we're not over earning our interest because then we just have to pay it back. So
that is so ironic.
Right.
It really is. I just wanted that said out loud. I was just like, well, it's okay to make a little bit to offset your cost, but heaven forbid we should make enough to really make an impact. Yeah. But thank you.
Yes.
Any other questions? Go ahead, Jessica.
Just, I guess, point of discussion.
Or comment, yeah.
Yes. Thank you for the presentation. I especially appreciate you setting the context at the beginning of the presentation about how this revised budget fits into our overall budget picture when we're looking towards next year. And I just wanted to underscore a point you made about fund balance, and that this revised budget puts us at a projected fund balance of around 16%. In our board policy, goal for fund balance range is 10 to 18%. And I wanted to note that is relatively new in the last few years, that fund balance range had been raised with an eye towards ensuring that we're, can remain financially stable during difficult times. that the board felt like the previous range, just got us a little too close to, being able to weather a real emergency. And the new range also allowed us to assign some funds towards meeting obligations that we have specifically in our district. So I think that's important to note as we're looking ahead to how we absorb potential reductions in our revenue from the state that could come down. So when, in our earlier conversation, when we talked about the possibility of compensatory aid and special education funding being cut, again, in the millions of dollars of impact to our district, that while we do have this fund balance and this revised budget puts us in a pretty good position to weather a storm, that is one-time money. So when we're looking at how we absorb cuts that could be permanent, that really just allows us to buy some time to figure out how we're going to operate moving forward, and isn't enough to make up, the difference in perpetuity of what we would get from the state. So it's a positive thing for this year. I feel confident that it puts us in a position where we can get through some tough times, but it's not a solution moving forward for what we might see. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions or discussion? All right, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor of accepting the budget as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Board topics.
So you want to explain what board topics are?
Oh, board topics are special things that are coming up that we want to highlight, that we didn't get a chance to talk about earlier, or, generally it's what's happening at Highland.
Turkey bingo.
At Highland.
Just kidding, it's happening at all of our schools.
Well, because we can't meet, we have to have open meetings, and so it cuts down on us talking outside of the boardroom about board business. So this is just kind of an overall moment,
Yeah. I have something.
Clearly.
So there's been actually a lot of conversation about the amount of flock cameras that are coming up in our community. Flock is a brand of camera, and there have been a lot of discussions. I've actually received emails from staff, messages and talking to me about flock cameras in around our school community and having concerns. Additionally,
Installed by the county.
I'm sorry?
Installed by the county, correct?
No, not entirely correct.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, the city has a contract too, is my understanding.
Okay.
After talking with Councilmember James about it. So the other thing is the county is having a discussion, or they had one today at their work session, about the use of the sheriff. The Anoka County Sheriff met with the Anoka County Board of Commissioners and talked about the possibility of having flock drone first responders. Yep, that's the appropriate, yep, it's very confusing. Yeah, and so having a first responders that are drones. I shared my concerns as, with my experience with drones lately, as well as the impact that the search has had and the additional flock cameras that have been popping up, it feels like very rapidly in our community. All of that being said, Mayor Marquez Simla is having an event on the 14th of May. The time has not been determined yet, but it will be at Mersion Hall to discuss these things. And my understanding is Commissioner Meisner will also be in attendance for that, as will the Chief of Police. So I've had several conversations with Councilmember James about this, and I did, like I said, provide my concerns about the possibility of having flock drone first responders.
What is that? What does
Yeah.
that look like?
What is that? So what
Like
it,
when we say respond, do we mean like just?
like,
show
so yes, like they would show up to, so one of the analogies was, if there's a fire, they could have a drone show up and they would be able to see where the hot
Confirm
spots
it.
are to send people. Right. I will say personally, given what we saw with Metro Surge, my own feeling about that is government surveillance overreach is already a concern, and providing a private company with access to our community in that way, even if it is through a contract, there's already been several documented discussions about inappropriate use by, so not here, in the other places in the nation. There've been documented places where law enforcement officers are using flock cameras for non-law enforcement purposes. And that's, again, documented. This is not an opinion, this is a fact. So I would encourage anybody who is concerned about that to attend the May 14th town hall specifically about flock cameras. And again, that'll be at Immersion Hall. Unfortunately, do not have a time, but I would assume it's in the evening. Go ahead.
Just a question on the cameras. Do we have a bunch of them on, I mean, can they just bring them onto the schools and say, watch our students from, you know what I mean? I'm worried about, the privacy of our kids, and
Correct.
that just seems so odd.
So correct, I would agree with you. And my understanding, we do not have any that are directly on school property as far as I am.
Yet. We
Yeah,
don't know.
but they are popping up with regularity, and they are outside.
Right, close
Right
by.
outside on 49th, right over here by Highland.
And we
There's
have
some in
had
the
them
back.
back 47th, we've had them.
Because we don't know who's actually behind the camera watching.
It is
and that would be something I would be concerned about
Yep,
for
there are-
our students' safety.
There are several security concerns with that. Go ahead.
We do know that it's not our local police department that's behind the camera. We do know that.
Yep. Yeah, it is. So Flock is like a name. That is the brand, and our city is in a contract with Flock Cameras right now, and so is the county. So again, I think a lot of people have questions. This did come up at the town hall that we had in January with the police chief and the mayor, and at that time, it was a smaller discussion, but a lot more information has come out lately, and a lot more people in the community are having concerns with it. And again, as a school board chair, I did receive messages from staff and community members specifically about them being directly around our school. So that's why I'm bringing it to everybody's attention here today.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Is this where they're mostly concentrating, or is it just the main, I mean, I'm just.
No, they're all over the place.
Okay.
Yeah, and they've proliferated. There's been a
Well, I mean,
massive
during
increase
surge,
in
it was mainly around the schools.
during the surge. It was on
everywhere.
University and Central only. They have since.
No, not Flock. I'm talking about that was the main,
You're talking about the focus.
the focus
sure.
was in that area. So are they focusing again on
They're-
our school?
Yeah, there are websites where you can look and see where all the flock cameras are in your community, and I don't know what that website is off the top of my head, but yeah, I think it's deflock.com or something.
So we have a new course on dystopian fiction?
We do actually. We approved
Yes,
that
I
last
actually
year.
do know that,
Yeah,
yes. My child was in that course.
Didn't.
so-
Maybe it should move into the social studies department.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Any other? Go ahead.
Yeah,
Any others?
I just wanted to note that next week is Teacher Appreciation Week and encourage all of our community to celebrate our wonderful teachers throughout the district. I know that there are appreciation events planned at all of our buildings next week, and so happy Teacher Appreciation Week.
Yes. Go ahead, Superintendent Stenbeck.
High school play is this weekend.
Yeah.
It's called The Play That Goes Wrong, and it will be Friday night at 7 p.m., Saturday at 2 p.m., and Sunday at 2 p.m. And on Sunday afterwards, our girls' flag football team will be playing right outside of the high school on the field. And so that's pretty exciting, too.
lots of fun things as we ramp up to the end of the year. Any others? All right, if there's no others, I will call to adjourn at 8 p.m.